people seeing our results and asking how. And it was more so like, at first we did it for free. We had like free class and stuff, but when people ask for something, like, you give it to them.
I think a lot of people were so surprised because not only are me and Bryson young, but like you said, just naturally we're minorities. We're Black, we're Muslim, Hispanic, like I'm Hispanic. So all that going into play, like people are just looking like, being that young and scaling so quickly in the rental arbitrage business model. First of all, a lot of people thought it was fake. And then a lot of people were like, teach me how. Like, how did you get started? How have you been able to do this? Because a lot of people try Airbnb, but they don't know how to do it the right way. So we got started in Airbnb through rental arbitrage. And rental arbitrage is just renting a property from a landlord, and then with their approval, you can list it on Airbnb. So it was a little bit easier for us to get started so young because we didn't have to purchase a home and put down like a whole deposit. All we had to do was rent a space. So we started off just renting, and we used like the few thousand that we had in personal savings. We both been I've been working since I was young. As soon as I was legally old enough to work, I've been working. So I had a little bit saved up, and then we used like personal credit and the money that Bryson had saved too. And that's just kind of how we got our first property. And then from there, the income that one Airbnb produced, it helped us so that we could get more units.
Airbnb in itself is just a platform.
Absolutely.
Short-term rentals is a business model.
Absolutely.
So someone may accept short-term rentals, but if you say Airbnb, it may set up like a red flag in their mind,
Absolutely.
which you don't want.
Yeah.
And even with a lot of apartment buildings, they have their own like rules that they have to follow, where they're sometimes not allowed to just let a tenant sublease out their property. But if a company gets a corporate lease and does it like that way through a corporate lease and does it as a short-term rental business model, they're allowed to say yes sometimes, whereas they have to say no if you're just a person trying to sublease.
Hey, wait. I know you want to watch this next video, but listen, if you are an entrepreneur, business coach, business consultant, or a small business owner who has a story and wants to learn how to create multiple streams of income from your story, I need you to text me right now, my book, to 646-687-4152. That is my personal number. I have been an author for over 12 years. I've written 10 books. 4 of them have been bestsellers, and I've sold over 100,000 books. But I've also helped a lot of my clients take their expertise and put it into a story, then create multiple streams of income from that. So I want to help you do the same thing. So text my book to 646-687-4152. All right, let's go back to the video. So welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. Listen, married couples consistently have better financial security than their unmarried counterparts. Married couples ages 25 to 34 in the United States have an average combined net worth of $68,210 compared to unmarried couples who have a net worth of only $17,372. Well, this young couple has surpassed that stat and defied the odds by making a commitment to build wealth. Welcome, Bryson and Inayah in the building. How y'all feeling?
Good.
Yo, y'all, let me tell you, y'all my favorite young couple. I'm gonna tell you why, right? Because, I have a daughter, right? My daughter is 15 years old. And the one thing I pray as she gets older is to find somebody equally yoked. And what I mean by that is find somebody that has similar ambitions as she does. And my wife and I, we got married, or we met each other. We didn't get married till 27. We met each other at 23, right? Yeah. And so we've been together 20 years. And so I see young couples ain't doing their thing though, right? Because me and my wife were both like active. It's like a breath of fresh air, because I really truly believe, and the stats show it though, I truly believe that family equals wealth. Right?
Agreed.
You
yes.
really want to change the fabric of everything that's wrong in the country, in the world. You attach that to family, and the family that sticks together, especially a family that's moving in the right direction together, is like, it's a powerful thing. And so when I see y'all move, y'all not y'all 21, like 21.
Yeah.
Like y'all not typical, right? And and I mean that in like all admiration. And so y'all doing some amazing things, and I'm excited to introduce you to our audience and really start to talk about what you're doing at such a young age that anybody can learn from, right? Not just young people. I'm talking about anybody can learn how to build wealth at any age. But I have a specific soft spot because you guys are so young. But before we get into all of that, who's Bryson? Who's Inayah?
Bryson, you can start.
Ladies first as always.
Okay. My name is Inayah. I just turned 21 last month. Me and Bryson, we both do Airbnb hosting, and then now we also teach people how to get started in short-term rentals through coaching. So,
I'm Bryson. My name is Bryson. I turned 21 literally 6 days ago. Just like Inayah said, we do Airbnb hosting and coaching, and now we're here to help you guys make money as well.
So let me ask you, they get to the bag. Let me fast forward. They get to the bag. They make a lot of money, and we're gonna teach you all of that stuff. But I want to know, like, how did you guys meet? What's this love story, right? Tell me the love story. I want to hear that story.
you got to go back to Danny.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a funny story. So even before I met Inayah, I had started training my mindset a little bit more, and I realized that I had to ask for what I wanted. And that meant be very specific on the car, the house, the life, what it feels like. And that meant my wife as well. So what I did was I got a note card and I drew out everything about it, type of hair texture, skin complexion, mindset, just all of that type stuff. And then coincidentally, when I was picking up beer from a friend and I was in the front seat, she was in the
crazy.
front seat.
It's
And,
crazy.
I caught a quick glimpse, and then I skirted off in the whip, make sure she know I'm there. And then I text a few minutes after, and I said, "Who's in the front seat?" And that was the start.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And then like the moment you saw her, you were like, all right, she's the one, or
Yeah.
like how did y'all officially connect?
Yeah, I mean, so it really grew off of us wanting to go to very good colleges. And she was like, what was it, USC?
Yeah, at the time I wanted to go to USC, and he was already trying to go to school in California, but we just had a mutual friend, he was picking up beer from a friend of mine. And at the time, I have never drank, partied or anything, so I'm just sitting there whatever. She drops it off and he skirts off in his car. I was like, this man, I already was too much. And I was just sitting there minding my business. And then, yeah, from there we kind of just, my friend invited us all to lunch one day. She's like, you'd actually be really surprised. Bryson, we were having a really deep conversation. And she was like, I feel like Bryson would really enjoy a conversation like this. I'm thinking about I'm like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, trust me. We should all go out to lunch. So me, Bryson, one of his friends, and a friend of ours as well, Troy, and then Danny, we all went to eat lunch together. And then, I don't know, from there, Bryson just started asking me questions all the time, about just what I wanted to do, my religion, just everything. And I wanted to go to a really good school. And we were finishing up our senior year in high school, so college was a really big focus. And we were both studying for our ACTs. And then, yeah, we both just...
It was you want to go to college, I want to go to college. I have one of the best ACT programs, let's study together. And then that turned into that. And then, the pandemic hit, whatever. And then I asked her to start touring my little cousins, because she's very smart. She'll downplay it, but she's up there. So I was like, please tutor my little cousins. And then we just started spending so much time together. And, we kind of molded our mindsets together by reading the same books and holding each other accountable to do the things we said to get the things that we wanted.
Wow, I love it. And did you, so first, how did you decide to go into business together? Was that something that while you were working on the relationship, you decided, hey, you know what, let's get into how did that come about?
Yeah, so I'll take it for a sec. What the funny thing is, so I used to have a lot of homeboys, and I had these mindset books and these success books, and I would beg them to read it. None of them would do it. Yeah. So when I met Inayah and she actually did it, I was like, I got it. I got the one, And after that, it's just we did everything together, literally everything.
Yeah, I don't even think it was intentional. That's what I was gonna say. I think a big thing for me was that I've always felt so different from my peers, just in the sense of what I focused on and what was important to me. than like everyone else that I was in school with. So I was kind of always like by myself. And then when I met Bryson, he was like really big on mindset. It was almost weird. Like I went to his house and like he said he had like note cards taped on his wall and all this stuff. And I'm looking like, this is kind of crazy, but you know, it's good, but it's crazy. Right. And even like he said, like when he had like the woman that he wanted written down, like it was really weird, but it almost like described me. And I was just like, what's going on here, right? So then, anyways, fast forward, he gave like all of these like a book list to me, these tapes, like just that would help me increase my mindset, and just certain audios that I started listening to and like cut out music and replaced it. And even that was so big for me because at the time I was in a little bit of like a tough spot. My brother had passed away like a year ago, and so I was still like grieving, and like I was still like angry at life a little bit. So he was like very optimistic, and I was like, what's wrong with this man? Life is hard, like. But he was always like, you know, you got to focus on the positive, you got to think bigger. And he would always say like, whatever you want to do, just do it. And I would always say, how? And he's like, don't worry about the how, you just have to go. And I'm like, but I think over time, just naturally, we started spending so much time together, and then we were just trying a whole bunch of different stuff. So we were both just, let's try trading stock options. So then little by little, we would just try it at the same time. And then I started, you know, trying drop shipping, and then he's like, let's try Airbnb. And so little by little, I think naturally we just started doing more things together and trying them together. And then we just grew all around in so many aspects just from that.
And then you got introduced, right? You tried Airbnb, and that was the one.
That's the one that worked?
Yeah. Talk about that, right? Because, you know, being so young, you know, I would assume that most young people would be like, well, I don't have access to capital unless you have very rich parents that are giving you money. How did you get started in the Airbnb business, and what business model did you use that you realized this is the one that's going to be very lucrative for us?
So we got started in Airbnb through rental arbitrage, and rental arbitrage is just renting a property from a landlord, and then with their approval you can list it on Airbnb. So it was a little bit easier for us to get started so young because we didn't have to purchase a home and put down like a whole deposit. All we had to do was rent a space. So we started off just renting, and we used like the few thousand that we had in personal savings. We both been I've been working since I was young. As soon as I was legally old enough to work, I've been working. So I had a little bit saved up, and then we used like personal credit and the money that Bryson had saved too. And that's just kind of how we got our first property. And then from there, the income that one Airbnb produced, it helped us so that we could get more units.
Wow. And so rental arbitrage, like you mentioned, right, is you go, you rent from the landlord lets you Airbnb it. You know, is that better? Is rental arbitrage better than owning it outright, or is it the same? Like, what's the advantage of doing rental arbitrage?
So I think the advantage of doing rental arbitrage is less startup capital, and it allows someone who couldn't normally access that type of income do it. Because like think about a home, either you're buying it in cash or you're putting down a down payment. Where we come from, that ain't happening. Right. You know what I mean? So to be able to rent someone else's property and make money from it is like the gold mine and entry level into real estate.
And you use the money that you make, so it's really not money coming out your pocket because you're using the money that you make from renting it out to pay the rent to the landlord.
Yes.
And the landlord's happy because all they want is that rent. They don't want to deal with, you know, the cleaning and all that stuff. They just have a set number that they want. You give that to them however way you give it to them, and then you're making money. On average, how much can somebody make off of one property?
It really depends on the size of the property. So some of our like smaller properties, like our 1-bed, 1-baths, we've bring in like probably a couple $1,000s in profit per month. And then our bigger properties, honestly, we brought in anywhere from like $6,000 to $8,000 profit off of one unit per month. So
wow.
And then even with the starting off, you were talking about how we pay the rent. We use credit at first. We use credit cards to do the whole thing, from furniture to paying deposits, all of that. When I was 18, like starting off with my credit card, I had $750.
Wow.
And that started from a secured credit card.
Wow.
So I had access to capital. And,
wow. So you started this empire using credit, right, with a 750 credit score, right? So look, young people, parents, if you paying attention, make sure you start off with the credit right.
Yes.
Because if you got the credit right, you could leverage that in order to start making money. How many properties do you guys have currently?
So at our peak, we had 11, but now we have 8.
Okay. And then so 11 properties right now, 8. Is there is there a vision on expanding it more? Like what's the plan?
Yeah, so we started off renting, and then obviously as renting we saw so much success, then we started coaching, and then we had the ability to own. So we bought our first property in December of 2021.
Nice.
And then we've seen such a difference. Oh yeah, 2022, my bad. So literally like 5 months ago, 6 months ago. But we've seen so much of a difference even from renting versus owning, whereas when we own, we can do whatever we want to the property. And it is a little bit more responsibility, because when you're renting, if there's a maintenance issue, you put it in the portal, like maintenance request. When it's you, it's like your property, you have to find someone to come fix it or whatever it is. But because we bought our house in cash, it's like almost all profit, right?
Wait. Let's not skip over that, right? So 21 years, y'all just turned 21.
Yeah.
We were 20 at the time.
So 20 years old, y'all buy your first property, and you don't even buy it to live in. Your first property is an income producing property that you pay all cash from a business that you use credit to get.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I cut y'all off, but go ahead.
No, you're good.
Yeah,
You're good.
yeah.
So now that's why, like, even we were just like going full throttle, scaling through renting. But now we've seen, like, once you have the means to purchase a home, purchasing definitely has, when you have the opportunity to buy, it has its pros over renting, that we just enjoy more, not having to go through a landlord, having all the freedom to do what we want with the property, having higher profit margins. So even with that now, we're not as much focused on scaling the rental arbitrage model. Now we're focused on how can we buy more properties, what do we want them to look like, do we want them to be more creative, as opposed to before we were just renting like homes and normal apartments. Like they just looked very standard, but now we're just kind of trying to expand in more of a creative way and more like building solid assets by buying. So that's why we've kind of put a little bit of a hold on the rental arbitrage. But we're still getting units. Like we just actually got another 1-bed, 1-bath rental arbitrage unit in St. Louis. So.
And so what's that process like? Like how do you know if a landlord is Airbnb friendly, right? Because I know if you look on the news, you hear a lot of information about landlords not wanting it. Certain cities and states have ordinances where they're trying to stop it. Even here in Atlanta, I know that there've been issues with Airbnbs. Like how do you know where is the right place and what landlords are friendly to Airbnbs?
So it all comes. Oh, you want to take it?
I'll take it.
Okay.
So it all comes down to the way that you go about it. At first, when we would reach out, it would just be an email. Hey, are you accepting corporate leases? And a corporate lease is when you use your LLC as the renter, which allows you to access multiple units at one time.
Wow. Okay. And if they say that they're accepting corporate leases, then you know that they're good with Airbnb.
Not specifically, but we tell them about our business model. So then we
Right.
tell them that we're a short-term rental company, which implies that we do short-term rentals.
Right.
And then we make sure that it's okay. Like we tell them we do have a private booking website, but we also list on other third-party platforms, such as Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com, or whatever.
All right. So
So and even that,
look, because y'all
said-
give me on the
said-
sauce, man.
Because-
I want to unpack some of this stuff.
Yeah, no, we gotta go.
that's
Like,
better than shooting it straight at like, do you allow Airbnb?
Airbnb, right?
Because
No, that's what I caught though. Like as
Yeah.
y'all was just saying it, like y'all got it down pat though. That's what I'm saying. Like y'all was just talking to me like I'm a landlord, right? And so I was like, wait, hold on, y'all.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Because like you say, you look on the news, you see all these bad news about Airbnb.
Right.
Airbnb in itself is just a platform.
Absolutely.
Short-term rentals is just a business model.
Absolutely.
So someone may accept short-term rentals, but if you say Airbnb, it may set up like a red flag in their mind,
Absolutely.
which you don't want.
Yeah.
And even with a lot of apartment buildings, they have their own like rules that they have to follow, where they're sometimes not allowed to just let a tenant sublease out their property. But if a company gets a corporate lease and does it like that way through a corporate lease and does it as a short-term rental business model, they're allowed to say yes sometimes, whereas they have to say no if you're just a person trying to sublease. So sometimes even if you try to do the corporate leasing route, sometimes they'll say no, we're not okay with it. But sometimes they'll allow that, where if you just came to them as a person, you're like, hey, is it okay if I Airbnb my home out? They'll be like, absolutely not. Yeah.
No, I love it, right? So and that's why I wanted to unpack, because the language, I love, y'all have the language down pat, right? I'm like, all right, so how do you know they're landlord friendly? you call them and you ask them if they accept corporate lease, right? Which means that as Inayah and Bryson, as individuals, let's create another entity that is a short-term rental business, right? And so now it's an LLC. So now it's not 21-year-old Bryson and Inayah.
Yeah.
It is this entity or this corporation that is renting from this landlord. So number one, that feel I'm cool there, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Then you're not asking them, hey, do you accept Airbnb, which already has this stigma and this red flag? Do you accept short-term rentals?
Yeah. And we even break it down, like we have a website.
Yeah.
So when we first email them and we tell them, hello, do you allow corporate leasing? Normally they're like, what is your business model or what is your business? Then we tell them all about our company so that they're not confused. So we tell them we're a short-term rental business or short-term rental company. This is what we do. These are the guests that we house. This is how we find our guests. We send them our website. Our website tells them where our properties are. It shows them what our properties look like. So that when they click on our website, they see a professional company. And like you said, not 21 or 20-year-old kids who are trying to, book rent a house out and then put it on Airbnb. Because there's a huge difference.
Right. Oh, I love it. And so I swear I hope y'all taking notes, right? Because unfortunately, and again, that's why I'm excited, right? Because unfortunately, when you think about 20-year-old black kids, that automatically has a stigma. Like, I don't even have to say more than that. I say, look, I have a couple of 20-year-old black kids that want to rent your property. Unfortunately, that has a stigma to it. And so, number one, it's my honor and pleasure to sit in front of you to be able to introduce what a 20-year-old couple, a black couple looks like, right?
Thank you.
But then also, to now, have this business acumen to understand not even how to play the game, but just understand how the game works and be able to use that to your advantage to the point where you are 21 years old and you're buying your first property in cash. Talk to me about your coaching business, right? Because and that's the other thing, right? Let me, let me tell y'all. I told y'all before, I have no shame whatsoever singing your praises. Like, I'm not too big. I love y'all. I told y'all that, right? I love y'all. And so talk about your coaching business, right? Because what I love about y'all is, number one, don't play with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all know what y'all talking about, right? And I love that because, again, as somebody, I was smart, in my 20s as well. And it was always, I don't know, I always felt like there was not enough support from my elders. I always felt like there was, because I was by 21, I worked at a bank and so I was in a corporate game, and the corporate game was just like totally different. And so there wasn't as much support as I would have liked from people who look like me, who are at that level. But the fact that you guys have this level of business acumen, not only do you, you guys could just be quiet and just run up the bag doing what you do, make money, doing rental arbitrage, and just kind of stack it up. But you decided that, you know what, I want other people to learn as well, right? So I'm not going to keep all of this information for myself. I'm going to now teach other people how to do the same exact thing, how we did it. And because we did it, we have the blueprint, we can help guide you. So talk about your coaching business. So
we started our coaching business, what was it?
10 months ago.
11.
Oh, 11 now. Yeah. Okay.
11 months ago. And in this 11 months, things have changed drastically. We now have over 2,000 students. On the low end, we have over 500 high-ticket students. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And what was the thought process? Like, what made y'all say, you know what, we're gonna start coaching?
People seeing our results and asking how. And it was more so like, at first we did it for free. We had free class and stuff, but when people ask for something, you give it to them.
I give it to them.
I think a lot of people were so surprised because not only are me and Bryson young, but like you said, just naturally we're minorities. We're black, we're Muslim, Hispanic, like I'm Hispanic. So all that going into play, like people are just looking like, being that young and scaling so quickly in the rental arbitrage business model, first of all, a lot of people thought it was fake. And then a lot of people were like, teach me how. Like, how did you get started? How have you been able to do this? Because a lot of people try Airbnb, but they don't know how to do it the right way. Like you said, a lot of people will try to just rent out an apartment and they're not even asking the landlord. They're just trying to do it on the low. Then they end up getting kicked out. It's a whole process and they don't see the success that they wanted with it. So when they saw me and Bryson doing it and they kept saying how, like Bryson said, so first we started our free class. And then people wanted more. They still wanted more guided coaching. So then we came up with a few different offers. We have the Academy, which is our coaching, our course, and our community all in one. And we offer it after our free class. We offer it to all the students who joined for $1,497. And then after that, we have another offer where it's like done with you, where not only will you get all the information and have a community behind you and coaches to support you, but we will find and secure your Airbnb for you, do your website for you, and give you 5 days a week like coaching. So it's really like figuring out what people actually need in terms of help within the rental arbitrage process, and then also just being able to offer it at the highest point that we can and being able to fulfill it on both sides so our students are happy and where we can pour into as much people as we can.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Like I said, my daughter's 15. She needs some mentors, so y'all stay close. And then so rental arbitrage, renting, coaching business. What like when you look at the trajectory of where you guys want to go, right? As somebody, Bryson and I, as visionaries, as people who understand the power of visioning, life visioning, writing things down, being specific. What does the next 5 to 10 years look like?
Software,
yeah.
Sell the software, and rent and repeat.
Yeah,
that's it. So like with the Airbnb or just Airbnb period, you depend on apps to automate your business. Right. And what we realize is that we're sending all of our customers to these different apps, and we're not getting any affiliate, we're not getting anything back. So instead of us doing that, we're just right in the process of building our own, and we're going to be able to not only teach our customers, find them their first property and secure it for them, but they're also going to become recurring customers and depend on our software to run the heart of their business.
Wow.
Because as an Airbnb host, if you want to make money passively, you have to have your automations in place. Because right now there's Airbnb hosts who spend all day texting guests and changing their pricing and messing with their calendar. But if you know what you're doing and you have everything automated, it gets so much easier. But even right now for me and Bryson, what we learned is like we have to go through so many different apps to automate it in different ways. Like there's a different app for pricing and a different app for messaging. And even those apps we were like, oh, I wish we could do this, but it's not. So instead, we're like, let's just create our own software. So right now, we literally have a software that's being developed that does everything, automates everything all in one app, where it will automate, your messaging, your pricing, your list, like everything all in one place. That way, not only can we help people get started, but we can help make it easier for them to be an Airbnb host and truly have that semi-passive income coming in without them pouring much time into it.
Wow, love that. How do you see, if any, the introduction of AI, like artificial intelligence, affecting the Airbnb or short-term rental business, if it will?
Yeah. So a big part of our software integrates AI to where instead of you changing the pricing yourself, you're telling the AI to do it, or instead of you blocking off dates on your calendar, you're telling the AI to do it. So it's definitely it's good. It's a good change.
And we want it to be able to say change, block off these dates on my listing, and it'll just do it on your own. And even we even integrate, we're integrating AI to the point where it will reach out to landlords for you, so that you don't have to do it yourself. Wow. So we're putting all of it in there.
Deep fake voices and all that too, or no?
Through messaging instead of calling.
But deep fake. That's
a
good idea.
Right? You can train the AI, I give you my percentage. But you can train the AI with your voice.
Yeah.
Hi, this is.
They'll have to do a certain amount of whatever so it picks up on it. No, for sure. That could definitely work.
No, I love that. So, as young entrepreneurs, what would you say has been the toughest part of being your own boss, running a business?
I mean, when you become reliable for payroll, people you're going to fail a lot, but you can't stop. You can't ponder on your failures. You have to, an offer might not work, get up and make a new one, keep going. Something might not go as planned. You got to keep going because you got payroll.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I think about a lot. Like, it's not just about us anymore. We have people who have kids. We have people who have partners who the head of households.
Yeah.
They got to eat, and that means that us as the owners of the business, we got to get up and put even more work in than we did before when it was just us two.
Wow.
I think a lot of people forget how much work goes into running a business, and that's a lot of pressure. Like it's like even a lot of my family works with us now, and so even like Bryson said, and beyond just like my actual blood family, everyone that works in our team, we're all like family. So realizing that every single choice that we make has a domino effect on every person that works with us, and just everyone in general, our students, everyone, we realize that like, we don't have an option to fail, because if we fail, it's not just us failing. It's a domino of people. Right. So I think sometimes it's just like holding ourselves accountable, because there's no one to tell us what to do. Yeah. We're our own bosses. We literally make our own choices every day. There's no one who says like, you need to do this today or this today. So it's just deciding every day to continue being intentional and never get complacent. Like when we hit our goals, like we hit $1 million a month, okay, what's next? Like we got to keep going. We can't just like decide, okay, we're going to stop working, because if we stop working, then what happens to everyone else?
Right. And then Bryson, you mentioned earlier, like you had a lot of homies, right? You was trying to put them on game, and they couldn't see that wisdom.
Yeah.
What is your, especially as a young 21-year-old, what does your social life look like? Are you, are you able to attract, more friends that are on the same page, or it's just Bonnie and Clyde? Like what's
For 98% of the time, it's Bonnie and Clyde, and we have.
We've met a few really, really, really dope people, but for the most of it, like our social life is very nice.
So that's why I laugh. You're like social life. What's that?
Yeah.
You speak English, right?
For real.
And so is there a feeling of missing out, or are you living the life that you like? Are you loving the life that you've designed?
Yeah, so this is what I asked for a long time ago, and I'm living in it. There's always a degree of what if. Like, I see people partying, I'm like, that looks fun, but I want to party on the yachts and the private jets, and not charter a jet, I want my jet.
Right.
So I got to put the work in now, and I'm only 21, go hard for a few years, and I'll be able to enjoy it and have the fun I want to have.
Right.
Yeah. I think for me, like I said, I've always been really different. So I never partied in high school or did any of that. Bryson's high school experience is a lot different than mine. But so for me, I never feel like I'm missing out. I feel like the fact that I get to live my life and do whatever I want, and I get to take care of my family, and I get to spend my days with the people that I love, or like wherever I want. Like we just came from Egypt, we were in Italy, France, Barcelona. We were just spent a week in Egypt, and even that, to be able to make money wherever we are, for me to be able to take some of my family with me, and like all of that, to me, that's me living and exactly what I want to live. Yeah, so for us, it's like social life is like our family and a few close friends, and other than that, we just stay at home. Like I love being at home. I love just working or traveling. So for me, I'm happy. I'm happy.
I love it. And so now, somebody's watching who, we have a lot of people who have 9-to-5s, who are, have side hustles, trying to transition. What advice would you have for anybody transition who's trying to figure out how do they get a sense of financial freedom? They might be living paycheck to paycheck, or they might have a lot of money, but they're figuring out, how to get some. They want to spend 5 days in Egypt. Like what, advice would you give them?
I wholeheartedly believe that everything starts with the mindset. So like if you're in 9-to-5 and you're rich in the mind, you will figure out a way to make millions. But vice versa, if you have millions, you have a bad mindset, you're going to lose it. So if you're in the 9-to-5 and you want to transition, cut off all of the bad stuff, cut off all of the music. For my men, all of the pornography, cut off the hundreds of women that you pay attention to, that you're chasing, cut off the bad homeboys, the alcohol, the weed. Weed isn't addictive, doesn't matter, just cut it off. All of that bad stuff, like if it isn't growing you, then it's hurting you. So you need to, in my situation, like once I met Inayah, my whole life has just went up. And that's the power of having one woman and one woman who can match your energy and go as hard as you want to go. So the one thing I see with like my homeboys and stuff, and they're struggling, I'm like, you trying to mess with 3 women at one
Facts.
time. Like, you gonna keep struggling, dog. So that's my advice.
No, it's funny, right? And I literally, if y'all can see, I really literally got goosebumps because like I'm like watching a young me. I swear. Like I said, I've been I've been with my wife 20 years. We met when we was 23, right?
That's goals right there.
Yeah. Congratulations. That's amazing.
And when I met her, I knew though. I was like, that's her. That's the one. And like literally, like ever since, like I was always smart, but I was hanging around with the wrong people. And like I was just the smartest one out of my friends. But when I met her, she always like pushed me to do better, and my life, like you said, just got better. And to this day, we still have to be like we just came from Phoenix, it wasn't Egypt, but you know what I'm saying? We just came from Arizona because she had a conference there. We left the kid, we got a 15-year-old, 8-year-old. Our kids are super duper dope. We still love each other, right? So it's not like we've been together so long, and that's my best friend too. So we do everything. Y'all might have saw her on the way out. That was my wife, and kids on the way out when y'all was coming in. But I say that, like I try to promote that all the time. That finding that person is like, I think it's the cheat code. Like y'all cheating. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the cheat code to success, and people don't realize that.
That's it.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, so I'm the youngest of 3, and
me too.
And then I got older cousins, uncles, and stuff. When I was growing up, and even my dad, I would see them with multiple women, and it looked fun. They had a great time. They had they were the ones with the alcohol bottles on top of the refrigerator.
Yeah.
And what I noticed as I grew older, I was like, man, they ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
They ain't got nothing but good stories. They ain't got no money. They ain't got nothing. I can't go out like that.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Yeah.
But one of the best ways to learn is by looking at the people who came before you 100%. And adjust accordingly. So like when it even comes to role models, I didn't have what to look up to. I didn't have what like a good example of what to do. I had a great example of what not to do. Yeah. And that's just.
And that's powerful because I think a lot of people don't give a lot of credit to contrast.
They don't.
Right? Because a lot of people look at joy, but in the great words of 50 Cent, joy wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for pain, right? And so you gotta understand what pain looked like in order to understand, all right, this is what the joy feels like. And so you guys have a free masterclass that you guys do. Talk a little bit about the masterclass and what people could expect from it.
Yeah, so in our class, we have a free class every single Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, and we go over the 5 steps to get your first yes. When I tell you we pour our all into this class, guys, so it's good, okay? It's really good. But we just basically teach them how they can get started in Airbnb in 5 simple steps. We break it down, we make it easy, we teach them, let's see, what are these 5 steps? How to find a profitable location, how to use other people's money, how to actually get the landlord to say yes, how to create their website, and
LLC.
How to set up their LLC, how to create an actual company, because that's where it starts. So the first thing is, like you said, we create that company, and that's how we actually even have the avenue to actually do it the way that we're doing it now.
Yeah. And what's your thoughts on mentorship? Like, is it important to have mentors, or is it like, you know what, we figured this out, we got this, we're gonna do this on our own?
Mentorship is 100% important. So like, and it doesn't have to come in the form of someone actually talking to you. Like, I think like reading a book from your favorite author or someone who's successful, that becomes your mentor in a way. You just have to actually take what they're giving you and apply it, and then just keep on going. Yeah. But even like paid coaching and stuff like that, super important, and that's one of the reasons why we're even here today. Yeah.
Whenever we have the option to learn from someone who has what we want, or is like, me and Bryson, we always do it, no matter what. Yeah. Obviously, if you don't have the resources and you can figure it out on your own, then great. Most of our lives, like most of my life, I've had to do that. I spend the time, but it takes a lot of time. Yeah. When you can learn from someone who already has what you want, you just get there so much faster. Yeah. So, and you skip all of like the hard mistakes that you don't know not to make unless someone tells you, like, I already did this is what you don't do, and this is what you don't do. Yeah. So
this is the first interview, right? Because I normally ask, like, if you could speak to your 18-year-old self, but that doesn't, I can't even ask that question, like, what I'm saying, if you could speak to your 12-year-old self, like, you know, but like, and yeah, I can't even flip that question in no real way, because, you know, at 21, like you guys are just starting out, right?
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it is you're at a space in your life where you really can't do wrong, right? Meaning that even, stumbles happen, right? Within business, even within those stumbles, you're so far ahead, right? As long as you keep each other first, open communication, and really have the focus that you have. Even again, those stumbles that may look like stumbles are actually propelling you to go to that next level. When you think about everything that you guys have done so far in your life, what would you both together and individually say has been your proudest or biggest accomplishment?
Honestly, I just, by me even meeting Inayah and dedicating myself to her, it's just like,
I swear in my head, I said, please. I said, what is he gonna say? What's the answer, brother? Go ahead.
It's just changed my whole trajectory of not only my life, but my family's life.
Yeah.
I'm a role model to my younger relatives coming up, the older ones, and then when I have kids, they're gonna have a healthy example of what this life looks like and more of a blueprint. So that right there has just changed my whole, like, what's coming after me and what's already here.
Yeah. He said it best. Yeah. Same.
Yeah. No, I love that. And so what, somebody's struggling, right? They're trying to figure out how to get, the right mindset. What books are you reading? Like, what are you telling them to kind of get them in the right mind state?
He's about to pull up. I know he's about to pull up.
What's the cheat code? What's the cheat code?
So even for me, the first book that I read that was on the list that Bryson actually gave me was called The Magic of Thinking Big.
Ooh, that's
Such a good book. Like, even from reading that, I learned, because growing up, I never saw a lot of money, so I didn't know to even think about a lot of money because I just never saw it. And then the more that I started reading these things and listening to these things, I'm like, people like this actually exist. Like, this is crazy. And so I think reading, like, number one, the first book I read was The Magic of Thinking Big. It's a really, really, really good book. Think and Grow Rich. Bryson has a whole bunch that he's read.
Number one, The Magic of Thinking Big.
Yep.
See You at the Top.
Okay.
Asking is Given.
Oh, that's the one.
The Secret.
Yep.
Psycho-Cybernetics.
Yep.
Laws of Success, the original 1925 copy. Think and Grow Rich. The Magic of Believing, and How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yes. Oh, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's actually the first one that I read back when I was in high school. Yeah.
Asking is Given. Is it Neville Goddard or Abraham Hicks?
Abraham.
Okay. What's your thoughts on Abraham? Do you listen to them? Like I know my first time listening to Abraham Hicks, I was like taken aback because he was channeling.
Yeah.
But I listen to everything Abraham Hicks.
Yeah. I mean, I really just take what I can get from people.
Right.
Especially the old timers.
Yeah.
I just take them
and I think that, honestly, I think that's a cheat code in itself, right? Because I think that people don't realize that this wisdom has been here for thousands of years. And what we try to do is we pretend as if things have changed so much when nothing changes, it stays the same. It's just the time of change. But this ancient wisdom you can still apply to this day, and it's actually better when you get it from the source than by getting it from somebody who got it from the source, right?
Yeah.
So like I've read books and listened to like new age, what they call new age thought leaders. And then I'll read like a Neville Goddard, or I'll read something, and I'll be like, "Yo, you got this."
Yeah, not for real.
So I love it. All right, so where can people find your free masterclass? This is we could talk all day, right? Yeah. I thoroughly enjoy, speaking to you. You are everything that I thought. Right, like watching you online, you're everything in person that I thought, and I'm happy, right? Because sometimes you can get disappointed when you like watching somebody, you like, oh, they smart, and then they come in, and you're like, so good. But where can people connect with you? Where can they find your free masterclass? Where can they be, stay tapped in?
So every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, you can come to our free live masterclass. The website is www.freebnbworkshop.com.
All right.
Yeah, and we'll send you a number so you can put it.
All right, bet. So we're gonna have a opt-in number that y'all can text. We're gonna put that in the description, the website, everything. Where can they follow you on Instagram and other social media platforms?
Social media, our joint account for like our specific Airbnb breakdown page is at Airbnb breakdown, and then my page is just Inayah McMillan.
And my Instagram name is Bryson K Blocker. BRYSONKBLOCKER.
All right, y'all. We are closing out the vault. Look, listen. Look, this is what I need y'all to do. I don't ask y'all for much, but I need y'all to share this video with everybody, young, old, whoever. This is a very important interview because not only do we need to amplify the voices of our young people who are making it happen, but we also need to take clues from those who are successful, regardless of their age, right? So I need you to share this with every single, if you hear the sound of my voice, I need you to share this with at least 10 people. Tell them to watch it, tell them to share it. Everybody should know about Inayah and Bryson because they're doing big things, and this is just the beginning. When y'all ready for that app, if y'all need some investors, let me know. I got you. I got some bread. I can put some money up. We're closing out the vault. Another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. Make sure you visit us, InsideTheVaultShow.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at Inside the Vault. Me, I am Ash Cash. Make sure you visit me, IamAshCash.com, and follow me on all social media platforms at I am Ash Cash. I'll see y'all next time, same place, in God's will. All right, y'all. Peace.